I have not gotten too many morning shots this year, just due to the way my schedule is run. But I thought I would come up and get a morning shot. And then really I want to go up and get a look at the buckwheat as it's in flower and see if we can catch the morning pollinator visit cycle, that 8 to 10 a.m. range. A lot of sugars are transported up in the plants. Yeah, see? There's already honeybees out here working in this buckwheat all over the place. Yeah. So that's awesome. And also, with the sun a little bit different angle and nice and strong, we can really see the health and vigor of these plants as they're growing out. So I just thought I would come up and get a short clip. I have to get back to the office and get back on with CAD work stuff, but just wanted to catch a shot and get a glimpse of the farm in the morning. One downside of not living on the place that you're farming is you don't get to experience all parts of the day unless you can make the time to make a trip up to do so. So this morning I got up extra early just to make that time. And I'm glad I did, because that morning sun feels wonderful. It's great to see the honeybees in here. And it's great to see a different light angle in here. And you can really see the difference between the cover crop and the main crop, the potato crop, in color and vigor and all. So I just thought I would get a clip, and I guess we'll take a look at tomatoes real quick, and they'll go up to that big buckwheat block, and I expect that that will be full of honeybees, if not now, very soon. And well, as I'm just climbing across here to the tomatoes, just happened to glance down and see a nice little potato tuber sticking out here. So we are making potatoes. That's awesome. And I also see a nice red ripe tomato peeking out at me. So we are starting to approach a harvestable point in the season. And that's pretty exciting after a hard season to get established here. There's a lot of work to get set up and running. But I'm glad I did it. So that's that tomato that I spotted. And you can see where there were calcium deficiencies and where it was taking stress from the drought. You can see how small it is, and you can see all the imperfections on it. And this spot right here, that's basically blossom end rot. That's typically from calcium deficiency. That calcium deficiency may have just been due to mobility due to the drought. But something to note. On the other hand, there are lots of tomatoes coming on here, and they're starting to size up nicely. And there's another one ripening with some chew marks and some end rot kind of stuff on it. But overall, not bad, given that they weren't staked and really haven't been cared for the last month and a half. I guess we'll just take a look at the other variety down here, which I believe is a plum variety, yeah. Try and have a peek under this canopy a little bit. Maybe see what we find here, yeah. We got clusters of plum tomatoes coming on here in the under canopy. Varied by the weight of the plant, of course, but they're in growing nonetheless. All right, let's go take a look at the buckwheat with the sun on it and see how many honeybees are in it. You can see we got all sorts of pollinators visiting here. Bumblebees and little tiny guys. All right, let's go look at that big block. Well, I have to say that's a beautiful sight. All those flowers opening up. Oh yeah, and look at all the pollinators. Look at all the honeybees. All through this crop. I know if on camera you can see all the honeybees as they lift off of each flower, move to another spot over top of that flower canopy. But it is loaded with honeybees. I know the microphone on this phone isn't very good, so I don't know how well you can hear it. But if you listen here, you can hear all the honeybees moving through the crop. You know, it's such a wonderful feeling when you plant a crop, knowing what it will do for the ecosystem, knowing that it will not just improve the soil health and the ability of your capacity with the soil to grow better crops next year, but that in addition, you're enhancing the pollinators and the entire ecosystem in all aspects. It's a very wonderful feeling. And since I've waded into the patch here to get some shots of the honeybees in the middle, I guess I'll point out again just how moist and damp the soil is down underneath the canopy here. It's dark and damp, and it's very moist. Again, you can see where the deer have been in here, grazing the tops off of it. I usually don't see deer bothering buckwheat, so that's a good sign, I guess, because they are going after it. I can't wait to have honeybee hives again. Probably 6 solid frames of bees working in here. And I'm going to pop this next box off briefly and we'll take a look at the lower colony. I want to see if they've expanded that nest width down the bottom, and also if there's honey and weight on this, because they're going to need that to get through the winter, I think. I have a feeling this winter is going to be a weird one, or a cold one. Alright, so good news is the blue box is pretty heavy. That's got a decent amount of honey in it. Over little creatures. They are so fascinating and gentle and intelligent. At a glance, they just seem like a flying insect that would sting you. But when you study what they do and how they communicate, they're fascinating creatures. If you haven't seen some of my bee videos, go back and check out the honeybees playlist. Tons of bee videos. Opening bee hives, capturing swarms, bees capturing honey, down the list. Well, I know this hasn't been a stellar season for me regarding tomatoes, but here's just a sample of what happens when you start to get things right. That's a ripe cherry tomato. That's about 1.25 inches in diameter. Here are some more tomatoes. I think these are the blue Oxheart or whatever from the Italian seed company. But again, quite a large tomato. Checking in on the holy basil here in the upper block. We've got some bumblebees in here visiting as this starts to come into flower. And little tiny pollinators of all sorts. Absolutely loaded with honeybees. So no sunset today, but I'll tell you what, those Catskill Mountains have a beautiful blue hue with that morning sun on them. And I think those horses got it good. Hey, just remember, you always reap what you sow.